Hi, I'm Samuel Prather, founder of Go Music and Reason user since 2003. Welcome to A Reason to Create. I've been doing a little mini-series inside of this mini-series on mixing, and a lot of questions have come up about some of the things that I talked about. So I wanted to expand today on the way that I use a DeEsser to bring vocals to the front, and the trick to do it without bringing in a whole bunch of nasty high-end hiss and keeping things from being too harsh. So if that sounds of interest to you, stick around. I'm going to go really in depth today. Firstly, I wanted to talk about what a DeEsser is. So what a DeEsser does is it takes the nasty kind of harsh frequency that comes out when a person says like an S sound, and it reduces it. So basically it's a compressor that's designed to control the sound that people make when they make that S sound. The reason that's important to you is because when you're mixing something, especially a lead vocal, you want it to sit at the top. And the best way to get something to feel like it's at the top is high end. So the question when I used to mix would be, well, how do I add the high end to my lead vocal track without it hurting, basically? Because those S's and T's can really kind of make you shudder when you start bringing in too much of the high end. So how do you get those clear, high end, really crispy vocals that you hear all the time in finished masters? Well, one of the ways they do it is by using a DeEsser to take the edge off of those frequencies so that they can push the highs as a whole up more in those tracks. Reason has some bootleg ways that you can make a DeEsser with the stuff that comes in the program for free. For my taste, I love the Dyne Multiband Compressor, which isn't a DeEsser kind of exclusively, and some people like to use DeEssers that are only DeEssers, but for me, I like to use that 4-band compressor because it has one feature that a lot of DeEssers do not, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So let's go over to the computer. So in this little mini series of videos on mixing that I was doing, I made a track just so I could have something to mix. I decided to throw a little vocal on there just so I could show you how this works in that process. I've already done a fair amount of work on this. I've already kind of swept through the EQs and got rid of stuff that I don't like. And I also have kind of used saturation to bring it to the front as well. This is what it sounds like. Oh, I need a scratch vocal. Say I need something for me to mix. Okay, not bad, but not that really bright, clean thing that I'm looking for. Okay, so you can see in my chain now I have a Dyne multiband compressor. I went to this DeEsser preset that came along with it, and I'm just tweaking a couple things to make it work better for my purposes. It actually works pretty great by itself, but these are kind of my little tweaks. Now that the harsh frequencies are being compressed, I'm going to use makeup gain and band volume to give me a little bit extra top end. Now that would sound like this. Oh, I need a scratch vocal. Say I need something for me to mix. So it's noticeably brighter. Hopefully you're listening to this in some nice headphones or on some studio monitors so you can really hear the nuances. But take my word for it, it's a big difference for a mixing engineer. Bringing up that high end has also brought in some problems, especially in between the words that I'm saying. So how do I get rid of that? Well, the best thing about the multi-band compressor that I'm using is it has 3 controls on each band of compression. One just to compress, one to limit, and then a third, which is a noise gate. What a noise gate does is it takes a certain threshold where wherever your noise floor is, as long as you set it above that, then whenever you're not speaking or singing or guitar playing or whatever it is, then it will interpret that as you want that to be silent, so it'll compress whatever's there. That allows you to use a recording space that might not be ideal, and in conjunction with noise removal and some other techniques, you can actually get a really clean sounding recording with lots of the air that they say we need for a good professional mix. Here's how you use it. First thing, I'm gonna turn on the gate. And then I'm gonna turn on this little triangle here. That little triangle makes the readout show what the gate is doing instead of the compressor. Oh, I need a scratch vocal. Say I need something for me to mix. Okay, so it's doing something. We can see it from the readout now, but we want to go ahead and adjust the level of the threshold so that it's grabbing everything that's a little bit above the noise floor. So we don't want to go haywire with this because it'll start affecting the signal itself, and we don't want it to affect the signal. We only want to affect the noise in between, right? That noise floor that we have in the room. This is what allows us to use a room that might not be optimal for recording and get a clean, bright sound. Oh, I need a scratch vocal. Say I need something for me to mix. So what you'll notice right away, hopefully, is that it's a lot more pleasant to listen to now without that gunk in the middle. And as a mixing engineer, those are exactly the type of things that we're trying to get rid of before we go to the mastering phase. So just to give you an idea of what that actually does to the placement of the vocal in the mix, I'm gonna play it bypassed first, and then I'm gonna play it with the effect working. Oh, I need a scratch vocal. Say I need something for me to mix. And now with the ducking. Oh, I need a scratch vocal. Say I need something for me to mix. And now it's sitting beautifully on top of the mix. Let's listen to it one more time with a little bit of reverb and delay on it so it's a little bit more like you'd hear in a real recording. Oh, I need a scratch vocal. Say I need something for me to mix. Okay, so hopefully you'll notice that even though now there's effects on it that sometimes can make things feel like they're far away, like reverb or delay, it's still sitting in the front and on top of the mix. And that's because of the EQ decisions that we've made, the compression decisions that we've made, and also now using that DeEsser and bumping up that high frequency so that it really hits you but doesn't cut you the way that sometimes high frequencies can. This technique works equally well on instruments, so if you want to go ahead and brighten up a saxophone or a trumpet or anything that needs to be brought to the front and the top of your mix, you can do it by using a DeEsser so that you can get away with adding just a little more sparkle to your track. So I almost forgot to mention one thing about why I use the gate on the 4 Dyne as opposed to using the one that is available in the SSL mixer. The good news for those of you that can't afford that 4-channel mixer that I'm using is that you can use the gate on the SSL mixer to kind of reduce that noise, but it has less flexibility and control, especially over frequency. What's cool about the one that I'm using is that it's only gating those specific frequencies that I'm raising up to use my DeEsser to brighten the track. I'll say that again there. Say that 3 times fast, right? So only the frequencies that I brought up to brighten my track are going to be affected by this gate. So that way I can only gate what I brought up instead of gating everything. That might not make an awful lot of difference to you, and that's fine, but just understand that you have that capability to only affect the area that you brought up, and that makes it so that it's a little bit less intrusive. If you like the way that I explained everything today, then please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe and the bell so you know when I come out with new content. Also, I have a ton of music available to listen to on Apple Music or Spotify. You can buy it from my website. And also, I have t-shirts on sale on SamuelPratherStore.com. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm Samuel Prather. Hopefully, I gave you a reason to create.